That's right up there with I can't wait to put on blackface.
And he finally said it out loud.
We'll make you a
I'm
list
glad
of
you
stuff
finally
to say
admitted
to
it.
him.
You know.
And we are, to be clear, we are recording. So.
All right, welcome to the Freeform Podcast. I'm Dallas. We have Zach this week, and Tim and Gabby is back.
Yay.
And we have Cameron joining us this week.
There it is.
So thank
There
you
it
for
is.
tuning in
Ow.
and joining us.
Dallas, might I ask, how did you get that bruise, friend?
Which,
The one
That?
on your yeah. It
I
looks like you kicked something.
yeah, I kicked. Well, basically, I got injured because no good deed goes unpunished. That's what I get for helping people move, essentially.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I accidentally. I forget whose fault it was, but basically something got
Dropped on your leg.
kind of. It got like
Pushed.
bashed into my leg, like it was a corner of like a table or something.
Nice.
And again, I don't know whose fault it was. Probably a mixture, but yeah. That was
So
fun.
like 70-30 your fault?
I like I said, I don't recall. I'm not saying it wasn't my fault. I'm just saying I think there was more than one party involved, but I can't recall. But I'm like I don't know if a lot of people are like this. My dad has always been like this. He'll have same thing, cuts, bruises on him. Like literally this past week, he was over here, and he was helping me do some stuff, and he just had blood running down his arm, and I was like, "Dad, you're bleeding." And he just goes, "Oh, you know." It's just like it's one of those things. I never understood it when I was a little kid. He used to do that all the time. I'd be like, "Dad, like you're bleeding or you're whatever," and he'd just go, Or I'd be like, "Dad, like see his bruises later," and be like,
Does
"Dad,
he
how'd you get that?" And
actually,
he'd go, "Oh."
Does he actually bump something or get cut and just not notice or like spontaneously start bleeding? 'Cause I'm confused.
I'm
Those are
pretty-
two different
Spontaneously
Yeah,
bleeding. That's a
I'm
real
pretty
problem.
sure
there.
if he was just hemorrhaging blood for no reason, that would have been. I think he wouldn't be around right now if he'd been doing that for decades. But
okay.
no, it's just he just like is. And when I was a little kid, I thought, oh wow, how manly like my dad is, because he's just like he apparently doesn't get hurt, like doesn't even realize he gets hurt. But then as I got older, I realized I do the same thing. I don't think there's any masculinity in it. I think it's just actual like stupidity, like your brain just doesn't register that you were hurt or something.
Well, I don't know if it's stupidity. I mean,
Well, I mean, dumb as in like you're not sending the signal or you're not something.
yeah, no, but I've gotten a cut on my arm that I didn't feel until like I took a shower and water hit
and it burns.
and I was like, that was there.
Yeah, I don't know,
So-
but that happens to me quite often.
Doesn't happen to me quite as often since I've been like,
I mean, it's like a
holed up in my house for
Well, yeah, sure.
Fair.
I mean, the less,
for years.
No.
It is years at this point.
Tim has been preparing for COVID for
No, not preparing.
for years.
No, just the last year and a half has been
Oh,
5 years worth of my life.
jeez.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just a collective. Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure there are those.
we're glad you got out of your house. to
I'm sure
join
there are
us.
those out there who feel the same.
I'm sure there are. Yeah, I'm sure there are. Yeah, I felt like that after only a couple months. I was going nuts. Even my.
It's getting better though.
Oh no, for sure,
Definitely
for
getting
sure.
better.
But yeah, I know even my 17 days of in Oklahoma alone. That was.
I mean, you went to the Midwest, my friend.
Well, it wasn't even a full 17 days actually. It was just like 17 days from they left.
Like,
But then I saw people like semi in between, like every 4 or 5 days or something. But like, it just felt like
we
forever.
tried to warn you. It's the Midwest.
Again, no good deed goes unpunished. That was me going to see my friend and then him being like, "Oh, can you stay and watch my crazy dog?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
I mean, I guess.
How
So,
crazy a dog?
I think I talked about this, but I'll just say it again. He basically the dog. I don't know. Did I never actually talk about the dog
No,
specifically?
I don't think so.
Nope. You
Did I even
talked
talk about
how
my trip?
You talked about how it was lonely.
Yeah.
That you played volleyball
Yes.
and that there was no whiskey to be found.
Right.
No good whiskey.
No good
That's-
whiskey.
Like
that's what I got
I
out of it,
thought
too.
going to the Midwest, I thought I'd get closer
Yeah.
because I'm literally much closer to Kentucky, which is like the heart of Bourbon Town, right?
Yeah, that's
and ironically, there's less selection there than there is in California. I'm like, what the hell? This makes no sense.
So that's mostly what you focused on. So we didn't really
sense.
hear about the reason why you went at all.
Yeah.
Speaking of whiskey, no, but
you gave the dog whiskey.
Actually, I probably should have. He probably would have acted a lot more normal. Actually, no, seriously. Actually, I think alcohol would have helped him. His problem was he was the most neurotic dog I've ever experienced, and I've house sat for a lot of people and like watched their animals, multiple animals, usually dogs. And even when a dog is apprehensive at first, it will warm up to you if it has any type of brain, because it will realize, oh, this person is being kind and he's not a threat, and they'll slowly warm up to you. Even if they take a while, they will eventually warm up, and once they get warmed, unless you do something crazy like intentionally scare them or something dumb, they're good, like just like with a person, right? Mm-hmm. Well, this dog was so crazy that, and sorry, Austin and Emily, but I did talk with them about this, and they're pretty cool with it, actually. But their dog, just to give a background, they got him in January of 2020, and they were in Hawaii when they got him. COVID hits, then he's just isolated completely, and I think that's the thing that kind of made him nutty. But on top of that, because you're like, well, there's a lot of people who don't get their animal out near other animals, and it's just like a couple with a dog, right?
Sure.
This breed of dog, though, he's part Dachshund and part Jack Russell. So super neurotic, crazy dog, you know what I mean? Who's like, is
Just
their
slightly
sole
longer.
thing in life is to like kill small animals and rodents and bugs and stuff, right?
It's
It's
true.
kind of, he was just kind of, I think he was just dealt a bad hand, but I feel bad for the dog. Like the dog didn't do anything to me. He wasn't like nuts as in like, he didn't try to bite me, and he was actually very well behaved in terms of like, he didn't destroy anything. Like he didn't destroy my stuff. He didn't go to the bathroom in the house at all. Like all those are like great things. So he wasn't like those kind of problems.
But like socially.
But yeah, socially. So to give you an example of how finicky this dog is compared to any other dog I've known. So normally, you warm up a dog, and even when it's scared, eventually it realizes, oh, you're feeding me, you're petting me, you're not trying to harm me. We're cool, right? He would, in the evenings, he would like to sleep on my bed most of the time with me, right? So he'd like crawl up there before I even would go to sleep, because he'd go to bed a bit earlier because his family, his owners go to bed. His routine, yeah, they go to bed a bit earlier, right? Which is cool. So by the time I go to bed, he's already laying in there, which I actually think helped the transition process. But anytime I walked in the room, he just immediately looked at me like, ears back, like, who the hell are you? Which he knew me because I was there for like 2 weeks before they even left. Right. Mm-hmm. So he also had that transitional time to like get to know me. And if I ever reached out to like pet him or anything, he would immediately like bolt or like get away. You know what I mean? He's just like so scared. But if I had the lights off and he was laying on the bed with me, he would let me pet him and whatever. He didn't. It was like, I don't know what it was. It's like a visual thing. It's something like literally I've never experienced it. It's like if the lights were out, he was totally chill. I could pet him on his head, on his belly, like wherever, he was good. If the lights weren't out, he was just so apprehensive. And sometimes he would be cool and like while I was sitting on the couch, he'd come over and like lick my leg, and I would just be like, okay, cool. Like I wouldn't even reach for him because I'd be like, that's gonna freak him out. And then, dude, like 20 minutes later, because he was really well trained, he would go to the back door and like scratch it, like, oh, I got to go out, right? And I would go, okay, cool. I'd get up, I'd go and open the door. And when I went to open the door, he would back under this, because their kitchen table was right near this back door. He would just look at me and like back underneath the door. And I'm like, what are you afraid of? Like,
literally let you out.
No, yeah, and I've let him out multiple times, and he would all of a sudden just get scared. And that's when they told me, they're like, oh, yeah, he does that to us sometimes. And I was like, what? This is nuts. Now, don't get me wrong. They can actually pet him and do all that kind of stuff. But they just said that, like, there are times where he will, like, kind of be freaked out by them for no reason. And I was like, well, I guess at least it's not just me, and apparently what they were telling me is he's doing much better. I guess he used to be much more antisocial. So this is him like progressing. And I don't know. He's still relatively young, he's under 2 years. So I think he still has room to grow, and he might,
Right.
get out of it as he gets older. But anyway, that's why I drank a lot.
Oh.
Because of the dog.
No, mostly it's just because, it's just nothing else to do. But, yeah.
Yeah.
But, no.
I just have this picture in my head of Dallas at the kitchen table, just like bottle in one hand, glass in the other, just like
Staring at this dog.
head just like barely above, like crashing on the table, and then he like jostle himself awake, take a sip, and just slowly sink back into it.
Meanwhile, the dog is at the doorway looking at him like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The dog has poisoned you. He's waiting for it to take effect.
Yeah,
He's
the
looking
dog-
and going, excellent.
Yeah. Hey, man. I mean, yeah, I was waiting at some point. I was like, gosh, let's just end this. But, yeah. But, no, I mean, all things considered, he's not like horrible or anything. Like I said, he's like generally a good dog, and he's like fun when he's fun, but
Right.
he won't let you touch him.
Right.
And yeah.
He's no, rest his soul.
Preacher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Russ's old dog.
Yeah.
Poor 3-legged. Was it Pitbull or was it No, it was Pitbull.
It was Pitbull.
Yeah, it was a Pitbull. No, he was a cool dog, but like, yeah, that one just literally had medical problems. That's different.
Right.
Like, that's another side of the spectrum, right?
Right.
Preacher was difficult, but Preacher mostly just had like medical and like anxiety issues.
Yeah.
Where he'd like basically, as soon as you left, if you left for like 10 minutes and came back, there would definitely be pee somewhere. Like he's like a nervous
Right.
And he,
pisser.
toward the end there, he started chewing things too.
Yeah, and then sometimes he would chew things. Like he did it one time to me. He chewed like this baseboard thing, like the most crazy thing. You're like, why would you even chew this?
He took the what is the thing that lines the wall and the
A
floor?
baseboard.
A baseboard.
A baseboard. He like took
Yeah.
an entire wall's baseboard off.
Oh wow! So yeah, he didn't do that while I was watching.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. So he had other issues. So that's another side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, at least this one I didn't have to really clean up after him or anything like that. That was great. So again, I'm not bashing the dog. I'm just telling you my experience. That's all. So no hate.
PETA, hope you're hearing this.
Fuck you, PETA. I'm talking to normal animal, havers and pet lovers and all that kind of stuff.
Hey-
I don't hate the dog. I like the dog a
Hey,
lot.
Peter, he put Tucker outside.
Yeah, I did. So he
Yeah.
wouldn't shit inside because he did do that a few times.
He put him outside without a pogo shot.
Yeah.
That's
what he did.
Well,
If you feel the need to throw blood at Dallas,
wow. What?
where are you getting the blood from,
Yeah,
Tim?
jeez.
I
What
don't
the
know. Where does
hell?
PETA get their blood from?
They don't. That's
I don't know.
I mean,
I think from people they've killed.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Actually, I totally would believe that.
From all those bad owners that they hunt down.
Yeah. Fucking Peta Justice.
I love watching.
I want to work for the. I want to be hired on.
work
my
for the
gosh.
PETA.
That'd be a
the
great
PETA task force.
No, that'd be a great
You
little...
want to throw blood on people?
Dude.
No, hunt
Oh.
down bad people.
Oh.
No, I'm just saying
You want to be
PETA...
a bounty hunter, basically.
I mean, that'd
If
be
I-
awesome.
But completely comedic wise, Peta Justice would be a great like little short show,
Oh yeah,
wouldn't it?
that'd be a great.
Yeah.
Like a
That'd be
YouTube
funny.
show.
That'd
Like,
be a
if we
great
did, like,
serial, honestly.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Just like
Serial.
five
Yeah,
five
like
to
Reno,
10,
like Reno 911.
yeah, like 5 to 10 minutes at a
Or
time,
like a
short
little
episodes.
cartoon
Oh, yeah.
PETA Task Force. That would
Well,
be
I
kinda
mean,
fun.
yes, but
Like a
that's much
Paradise
harder.
PD.
It's harder to animate. I'm
Well,
saying
true,
we could
yeah.
actually do this. We could easily do PETA. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, you
I'll-
could
yeah,
go the
do a
old
skit.
school
That'd
South
be cool.
I'll go
Park way
get
and just
like
that would.
paper cutouts.
I'll go get like red color. Fuck you! They keep red food coloring, and I'll put it in water, and we'll have fake blood, and that'll work.
It's gonna look
Tim
In
has
trash.
water?
a problem.
What?
Why are you obsessed with blood? What's
I
going
just-
on here?
They
It
throw
really-
blood on people.
Also,
Why
by the
not?
way, you don't put it in water. You put it in corn
Say
syrup.
it's gonna look trash.
Oh.
Put it in
Yeah.
water.
Yes.
Wait, if you already have the blood,
That
why
makes
is the
sense.
corn syrup or water being?
I mean,
That's
we're
a
not
good
going to use
question.
real
Well,
blood.
Tim
It's a
has
show.
real
It's-
blood apparently, but I know how to
Oh.
fake.
Yeah, these are just
fake
this
blood
is prop
Fake
blood.
blood.
because I like movies.
Oh yeah, cornstarch.
Yeah, I'm
Scary
not
Movie
looking to
1.
use real blood.
Wait, no, that was ketchup.
That's a waste.
Ketchup's not
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you only use it if it's for real.
Well,
If it's a show, it's just you just want to use props. So,
yeah.
So corn syrup. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it reminds me of The Office, which I've recently been going through again. But when Michael goes to buy a fur coat, and then he goes, you should know. He goes, if you go to Burlington Coat Factory, some people think it's fun to throw buckets of blood on you when you leave, and it's like right as you like exit the door. And I've
Mhm.
heard of reports of people doing that before, and I'm like, geez, man, like that's a real vendetta. And I don't really get that because, like, how is that supposed to stop someone from buying fur? Because now what you've done is ruin their coat. They're going to sue you.
And go buy another
And
one.
now they're going to buy another one. So actually you just endangered another life. If anything, once it's dead and made into a coat, like just let it be. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's the classic blunder of trying to teach morality by doing something immoral.
Right. It's like, how does that actually help anyone? And you're like, I don't know. You're like, yeah, well, didn't really think that one through there, did you, Chief?
You ever seen those farms though?
What farms?
Like mink farms and stuff like that.
Oh.
No, I don't. To be
those are-
fair, I don't know anything about that. so.
They're nasty.
They're horrific. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there are terrible conditions. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I'm saying
We're just saying Pete is a bunch
Throwing
of
blood
dicks.
on.
I'm
somebody
saying the
doesn't help
method by which they go about it is wrong because you're also you're taking it out on the customer, and they're not the ones who made the coat. Like they're just purchasing it from the manufacturer. You got to go after the big company.
Right.
Like show some balls, PETA, if that's what you're gonna do. Like go after the big boys. You know what I mean? Like they're the ones who are gonna make the difference, not the customer. You know?
Like that dude who got the Discovery Channel to follow him as he purchased like a pursuit boat and went after whaling ships.
Wow.
That was the shit.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
that's
Whale
crazy.
Wars.
Whale Wars, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. See, that
Which
takes some
I
balls.
mean, come on. Yes.
Well, that takes some balls.
Gosh.
Yeah, I respect that. But
I
yeah,
don't understand how like a species gets extinct nowadays. Like the two rhinos, how does it get to that point? We literally have satellite GPS, rockets, grenades, tens of thousands of people that have jack shit to do. Like,
How does it get to that point?
how does it get to the point that there's only 3 rhinos of a species? And
Because people keep hunting them down.
I know, but
they're
like-
rare and
and the irony
you
is,
couldn't
the
find-
more rare they become, then they're worth
worth
even
more,
more.
yeah.
So it's like then they're more sought after.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
mean-
vicious circle.
Yeah.
It's-
And
I
they
mean,
finally
you-
get the rhino, and then the rhino doesn't want to procreate because it doesn't feel like it, so now we're stuck.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like I don't want to do this every day, all day. No.
Well,
Like, you set up 300 people with machine guns to protect 3 rhinos.
What do you do for a living? I'm the Rhino Gunner.
Hell yeah!
I am right. I work
I
Rhino
mean-
security.
I mean,
Wow.
If it
I-
means that
I think
people
there
in
might
the
be a
future can see rhinos, I'm all for it.
I think there might be a problem with that as long as like ground up rhino horn as an aphrodisiac is still a thought in some cultures. Because if you pay a dude $500 to stand with a machine gun and guard a rhino, and he can kill the rhino and get the horn and get a payout of like 500,000, you've given him the machine gun. So
Right.
fair,
But there
there,
also- Cameron,
there
so-
are people that care though.
Yes,
True.
Cameron, there are actual rhino task forces, and what they do is they go around and they find the rhinos and they cut off their horns,
Mm.
Yeah,
and then they
And that
let
preserves
the
their
rhino
life.
go, and it preserves their
Or
life.
they like
because-
paint
Right.
them or whatever.
which
and-
I think that's
What?
pretty cool.
Or like I've seen sometimes they like paint them with something so it like ruins the whatever.
Oh, right,
or that's
right,
elephants, I think. elephant
Yeah,
tusks. They like
either
beat them
way,
with
that's
something,
Like
and then
that's
it,
really cool.
Yeah,
the
Yeah, so
ivory.
they'll hunt them down,
like-
trank them, cut off their horn, and then
so there's nothing
just
to
let
kill
them
them
go.
over. Yeah.
And then they kind of, they're much less likely to be hunted or whatever. Because you
Yeah.
don't want to just put all rhinos in captivity, otherwise you kind of ruin the point of having, just letting
Free
rhinos be out.
Yeah.
Let rhinos be
But-
rhinos.
And there's even a problem with just like grabbing the rhinos, breeding them, and then like letting out some of the breeded adults because
Oh,
they've
yeah.
been in captivity, right? You can't do that very well, or it's very difficult for them to actually be able to acclimate back
And
into.
be
To
successful
be
in
wild.
to be a successful rhino.
But
Yeah.
you can also imagine probably 50 to 100 years, maybe a little bit, hopefully a little bit longer than that. If rhinos are still around or whatever, the only ones you'll be able to find are zoo or in captivity, just because not the American, the human race will have expanded itself to a point where we populate everything.
True.
There's no free range for the rhinos.
Do you know what free range means when they're talking about like chickens and stuff?
Yeah.
That's
actually.
like them allowed to have like a 1 foot by 1 foot area.
Yeah,
That
if
means
what it-
that's free
I was
range.
gonna say,
Yeah.
literally, free range by definition only means that they're not held in a suspended like cage, which
Yeah.
is what they used to do. Like the egg laying ones, they'd
Yeah.
literally just have them in a suspended thing. So when they plopped out the egg, it would just fall in this basket and then go in this thing.
Dang.
Free
So it
range
just
doesn't
means that
mean
they
there's,
can
like,
actually walk.
They have enough room to actually like live a
Turn
successful
around
life.
and-
It's
All
just
that
like,
means.
yeah, they can walk
See,
around.
I was thinking like home on the range.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, see,
Where the
that's
deer
the
and
that's the problem. Everyone thinks that.
That's why they put it on the
Yeah.
eggs, free
Yeah.
range.
You notice how
Chicken
they
egg.
never
And they put a little
define
picture
the
of grass
range.
and-
They're
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's free range.
It's free.
It's like how when you look up what organic actually means, like you're like, oh, interesting.
I don't want to.
You ever notice green
It'll ruin
labeled
me.
on a lot of things? Like, what does that mean? Doesn't mean anything.
It means they recycle.
no,
occasionally.
it doesn't even mean that. It means green means nothing.
Oh,
It's
that's
just a
true.
buzzword that sounds,
Right.
I don't know, people like it. That they must do something nice.
Right.
It's green.
But like
Okay.
that's similar. Like organic is literally just like it means that they don't use a specific preservative or pesticide or something like that. But
Yeah.
it doesn't account from them using all these other
All
ones.
the other one.
It's not
It's-
that great. Let's
it's,
just put it
you
that
know.
way. It's don't get me wrong. I think it's.
Oh, I think it's
probably
better.
better than
And there's
like
a
your average
reason
whatever.
why.
There's a reason for the label,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
It's
I personally
mostly
I
a
have
mar-
organic eggs in my fridge right now.
It's mostly a marketing term.
Right. When you can have organic water.
I mean, I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, because I was gonna say, for those who don't know, the true definition of organic means carbon based. So
Right.
basically, everything on Earth is organic.
Yeah.
At least all of our
except for like heavy metals and
Yeah.
things
Well,
like that.
at least all of our elements.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's just
all
funny.
the elements of our universe
Yeah.
organic.
Yeah. But yeah. So Gabby, how's life been treating you?
I think it's like one of those things where you don't realize how much you use like your torso and your arms until you're like not allowed to use them.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah, straight jackets suck.
brushing your teeth, combing your hair, like just stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's more just been like frustrating than anything,
Yeah.
I think, or like sitting up, can't use your hands, like don't put pressure on your arms. I'm like,
Johnny, give a very brief, just what's the reason for this pain and whatever, because we haven't mentioned it on the podcast.
yeah. Basically, I had to get surgery because there was like potentially tumorous tissue in like the bottom side of my breast upper rib cage. So they were like, "Hey, that's not good. Let's remove that now." And I was like, "Yeah."
Please.
So yeah, that's why. But it's been like 2 weeks now, so I'm, like most of my energy's back and stuff. But it's more just like the frustration. Like I tried to write something, And my handwriting was like, whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well,
I
'cause-
wouldn't expect
Well,
handwriting
and
to be
sometimes
affected.
just like I'll be like have my grippies and then my grippies just give up and I'm like,
Oh.
just like, and
So
then
is
I
it even-
finally
We're
have
tired.
something and then just like done. Yeah.
So it's even like just your grip strength is weaker.
I guess I think it's more just like the endurance of it because like I can
Ah.
like grab something, but if I have to like for a while, it's like nah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
It's more like a
Interesting.
stamina thing.
it really is.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's one of those things you don't realize how much is connected, as
Yeah.
Gabby said, to
Mhm.
your torso.
Yeah.
Even just a little bit of flesh removal, let alone tissue removal, will change all kinds of things.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I haven't had a surgery since I was really tiny, and those have all been in my mouth. But my grandma, with the way what you were talking about, the only other person I know, excuse me, who had a similar situation, except obviously hers was a bit more severe. She had a heart bypass.
Oh damn.
Yeah, multi bypass.
Yeah.
And so they had to, they cut through your
Yep.
sternum, and so that,
Yep.
and she couldn't put weight, any pressure on
Mhm.
her chest, which is, so you guys understand,
It's like 5 or 6 weeks.
no, it's much longer than that
Yeah.
because she was like, in her 50s or 60s when it happened. So it was
Mhm.
literally months. It was almost like a year or more before she was like fully like back to doing things,
Oh,
the way
I
she.
bet they cut her sternum and then spread her rib cage open.
Yeah. Well, they have to get to your heart, and so
they crack it.
and so it takes a long time. You can imagine, even for a young person to recover from something like that. But
I've heard that's one of the number one like procedures you'll see people faint in, like students who are sitting
Oh.
in for the
Watching.
first time. Yeah,
interesting.
and they're like, they gotta watch it. They gotta learn somehow.
Yeah,
A lot of their first times they'll pass out when they hear the.
Yeah.
like the actual breaking. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gnarly.
It's pretty insane. They literally take one of those bone saws and they just cut it down, and then you have to, at some point there's a cracking, and then they literally have to crack it open,
Yep.
and it's pretty gnarly. But anyway, everything you've been saying, Gabby, has reminded me of when she used to talk about it, and she would say the same thing. She'd be like, "Yeah, I can't lift things very high," and
It's like I can push something, but pulling things is hard. And it's
right,
like, what?
yeah, certain muscle groups,
Yeah.
and so it totally reminded me of that, and so how weird it is.
Yeah.
You don't realize all the muscles that you use when you even just grab something with your hand.
Yeah, and I have to hold cups like children, with my hands, so like I don't.
Stabilize.
And
Well,
so you
that's
don't drop it.
mostly,
Yeah.
and Zach can attest to this. Is how I've been like measuring like my progress. Is I'm like,
Ah.
okay, I have the strength of a 7-year-old now. I feel like I'm 13. Like,
I am 13 again. Yes.
like okay,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like
Yeah.
a middle school strength
Yeah.
now.
Listening to a lot of MCR again. Just
Oh,
going
that
through
never
that phase.
stopped.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
why would that have stopped?
That's-
Once you
no,
once
no.
that hits, it
No,
never
no.
it never leaves you.
But yeah, so that's mostly been it. I mean, it's been a lot of just like, playing games and watching stuff,
Oh.
and not getting to move and work out, which for me is really hard. But the fatigue has been kicker. So there's some of
Sure.
it where it's just like I'm just too tired anyways. But it's starting to get to a point where it's like I just want to do like one push up, just to, like
Like I
see-
just wanna.
just to see what happens.
Yeah, I was
But I
gonna say.
won't. But
I mean,
Well,
like pushing
yeah,
yourself
when you
out
pop-
of bed isn't. Like,
I can't even do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if you pop those stitches, I don't think it'd be worth it. So
No, that's the fun part.
can
So-
I was gonna say, can I ask how many stitches you got?
Oh man. They had to
or
make.
was it a lot of like
Did they do
glue or
layers?
something better?
It's the dissolve stitches under
Right.
tape.
Oh,
So I have all the tape on and stuff still.
crazy.
I don't know how many. I mean, it was because basically in like I don't know if you wear because y'all are dudes, but whatever. But it's like underneath and then up both and around both. So it's like
So it goes. It's like all the
not
way
or
around.
mostly the undersides of both, but then
Gotcha.
also some across the middle too. So it's like two
Right.
big long lines from like my middle out, and then up, and then some side to side.
So it's
that.
like, is it more like on the edges of the ribs, basically, of the rib cage, or is it higher up?
It's all. It's like above where my diaphragm is, but like below where my sternum.
Right.
It's like that
Gotcha.
zone.
They didn't want to cut
Gotcha.
into your diaphragm.
No,
Yeah.
no. So,
I don't think that would be good.
That would be even more inconvenient.
I
just
can't
start hearing-
breathe anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I'm waiting for it to depressurize.
Yeah. I think you hit something.
no, man, I was
Quick,
no,
plug it.
dude, I was under general. I was having like the good sleep, man. I was chilling.
Nice.
Oh, it was really fun though, because like in the process of, so like the day of, I couldn't eat anything, and I had to take like the feel good meds, so you're like feeling all right.
Oh, sure.
And I'm allergic to a lot. Many things, medical things.
So what did they
foods.
give you?
So, but
Just the old fashioned cocaine. It's
No,
just-
no. Opium.
Yeah, oh god, straight up.
Straight black tar.
but they gave me the feel good one, and my whole thing. So I'm allergic to a lot of medications, mainly
Yeah.
like penicillin, antibiotics. Like a whole bunch of different things.
Things that will
Right.
save your life.
Things that help.
Things that are generally
but
good
who-
for most people.
Also, on top of that, I
that
am.
are actually
Take every
miracle
now and
working.
then.
Yeah.
On top of that, I'm also severely anemic. So
Oh
it's,
yeah, I thought. Yeah, that's true.
yeah. So
I
at this
forgot.
point, I haven't eaten, and my surgery got pushed to the afternoon.
Oh god.
So I hadn't eaten at this point for probably 14 hours,
Ooh.
and I can't eat or drink anything all day. I could have a little bit of water to like take the Cameron's nodding because he knows I could take the pill, but like that's it. So I'm running on like nothing but fumes, and now I'm like on feel good meds. I couldn't take my iron medicine because I have to drink it,
Oh.
and they didn't like that because I don't take like thyroid medication. I just like drink. I have to take like straight up like liquid iron where it has like the vitamins in it. Because thyroid medication fucks me up.
Never
'Cause
heard
it-
of that. That's cool.
Yeah.
She
I-
drinks.
no, that's
She
what
drinks
iron.
liquid iron, guys.
yeah,
She
dude,
heats
every
it
morning.
up to what? Like, what does it take? Like 1,000 degrees or something? She just downs
Yeah.
it, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah.
She's baller, dude.
She's
Um,
got a crucible
awesome.
instead
It
of a
looks-
cappuccino.
Fucking metal
machine.
as hell.
it looks
dude.
like little cough syrup shots. It's great.
That's incredible.
It's so metal.
I bet it's pretty gritty.
Oh, dude, it's so nasty because they
It's
they
like
also put
iridescent. It's
well
like
because it is that like dark kind of color, but they also
Oh.
put these like other vitamins and like herbs and flowers in it and stuff. So there's other like hibiscus
Minerals
stuff, this
and-
that whatever.
gotcha.
So you would be like, oh, it probably just tastes like nothing. It tastes like metal. No, it tastes like different flavored cough syrup, kind of.
Really?
Yeah, but just like thicker.
I honestly thought you were gonna say that it tastes like blood
No.
I was thinking
You would
belly
think.
button.
because iron
You
like
think.
oh, I don't know if you got how many of you guys did this when you were kids. I was pretty stupid. I sucked on some coins.
Like
you
on a
know,
penny? Yeah.
like
Yeah.
pennies, and
Yeah.
like if you suck on a penny, that's essentially what it tastes
Kind of,
like.
yeah.
It's very
Copper,
similar
but,
to like
you know, yeah.
or if you have blood in your
Or
mouth.
nipple
Right.
piercings, but
I'll just say it.
I thought tongue piercing.
Those
but
are
okay.
surgical steel, though. They should
I
actually
thought-
taste.
I thought
different.
tongue piercing, but all
tastes
right.
like shmoney.
What? Shmoney.
I don't look up shmoney, guys.
No.
I don't think you're gonna find anything good. You can look up nipple piercings, but don't look up shmoney.
But so at this point, I haven't been able to take that. I haven't been able to take then my iron at this point for probably a day and a half.
Oh.
And I take this daily, sometimes twice if I need to. And I'm on the feel good, and I have no food in me, so like we're going, and then they have to start running the IV before you actually go under because they have to
You're
make sure.
not. They didn't already stick you.
When you,
What?
I get there,
They didn't already. Oh,
I've
and
gotten
it's
there.
been the 14 hours that you haven't eaten.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
shown up, and they
Gotcha.
are doing the whole last minute stuff, whatever. And so I'm
Right.
about to go into
Prep,
surgery and
yeah.
everything. So they're sticking me and checking all my vitals and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if she just like kind of messed up and didn't want to say anything, or if she was just like, "Oh, you bleed easy." But I was just like, I was bleeding like a bit for like an
Oh,
IV,
gosh.
and I'm already on fumes, and I'm anemic, so I am like pale and shaking at this point.
You're like,
And I'm like, and she's just like, oh, whatever. And I'm looking at this lady, and I'm like, no offense, but I'm gonna pass out if I don't sit down. And she was like, oh. I was like,
you were standing up?
yeah.
Why would they stick you while you're standing up?
They had to like, I don't know. It was this whole thing.
Before surgery,
That sounds
too.
stupid.
What the
Dude,
hell?
I don't know.
That sounds
okay?
super stupid.
I don't know.
As someone who's like, I'm saying even
surgery?
phlebotomists, like when I go to give blood and
Yeah.
stuff, like they would never dream. They'd be like, the first thing you do is sit down, and they usually have you sit
Bro.
down for like about 10 minutes before they even do anything because it like
Yeah.
equalizes, your whatever. But
Your blood? Yeah.
yeah, you just blood pressure wise, it makes
When
it
you're-
so
when
so
you're
you're
giving
not
blood,
so
you
You
so
want
you're
to
not
sit
so
down for 10 minutes so
uh,
your blood coagulates, and then we can
Yeah.
draw it out of you.
Yeah.
well, that I'd like to try that sometime. Yeah, that'd be great.
That requires you to be dead.
Yeah,
So-
well, yeah, no, it's crazy.
So
That's crazy.
It's a one-time trick.
It was
for you.
awesome.
Yeah,
But yeah, because I remember I just looked down at one point and I could just see like all the blood, and I'm like, because blood doesn't like really get me. I'm not really squeamish or anything. It wasn't the like, oh, that's my blood. It was the like, I feel like this is a lot more than there should be. It was
Yeah.
that kind of moment where I was like,
much blood.
or I was like leaning
Right.
against something. I wasn't like totally upright, but I wasn't
Right.
like fully sat down either. It was like kind of
Yeah.
in the middle. And I just remember there's one point where I was like, this doesn't seem right. And I remember I looked at my other hand, and it was where you could start seeing like the purple veins in my fingers, and I was like, I don't.
That's also not right.
I've never experienced that. That's crazy.
I'm
Yeah.
seeing red down this arm
Or
and
it's when you
purple
see,
in this
well,
arm.
it's when you see, and then like
Something's
I even
wrong.
kind of, well, I mean, I even kind of have it a little bit
colorblindness.
right now just because of how my body is. But I have like the purple up here.
Yeah.
All my purple
Oh,
on my
you know
top
what?
of my
I can
fingers.
actually kind of see that from here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
just And she
You
took,
have-
she touched my hand at one point. She's like, "Oh, your hands are so cold." I'm like, "Girl, I
There's
am
no blood in
anemic as
there.
hell.
No blood in it.
Anemic as hell, and you are losing more blood than we are gaining."
The blood is rushed to my vena cava, and it's surrounding only my organs because it thinks I'm dying.
She's
The
like,
brain
"Oh,
is like, get it away from
she's
the
like-
extremities.
no. And this is one of the things.
That's
too.
the temperature of my bones, okay?
She was like, well, so she's measuring me and stuff, and she's taking all my vitals and everything.
That's
She's like,
metal as fuck.
she's like,
dude.
"Oh, but your vitals look great. Like your heart rate is in like a good range." And I'm like, "What is it though?" And she tells me, and it's like a normal range. I'm like, "Okay, that is high for me because my heart rate is very low."
That's,
So, like-
that's crazy.
You're like, you're a normal person. Gabby's like,
I'm not.
Something
are
is
you
wrong.
telling me I'm dead? What's
Yeah.
going on?
I died.
So yeah, it was. I think honestly, the most traumatic part of this whole thing was even just the beginning. I wasn't even in surgery at this point. It was getting there and all this stupid prep stuff they forgot to tell me, and then this IV thing, and then I got to go sit down and go to sleep, and then it was just fine.
Right.
Nice.
So yeah, and I show up, and because nobody mentioned this or anything, they were like, "Oh, we need to get your hair braided back or just back so it can go in the fish net or hairnet thing, and also you have to take all your piercings out." And I was like, nobody
No one-
told me either of these
What
things.
the hell?
I'm well, and I had my Med ID bracelet on, like I have it on all the
Right.
time, and they're like, "Oh, that has to come off too." And I was like, "Okay, well, can somebody read it first?"
Right.
Like, can, like,
This is important information.
because 5 minutes later,
can
this
you-
becomes very relevant. So
Can you write down what is on this, please?
Gabby, what you're gonna have to do is just get it tattooed.
tattooed? I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, which I know
Right-
wouldn't
right
be a far
next to
cry for you
breathe in.
anyway. So have it tattooed like on your cheek or something.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, just right over the heart. Just in
It's
case.
just yeah. So you're like, look, you're gonna have to read this before you cut it.
Yeah,
Uh,
but see, then you get to prep, and it's
Jeez.
they're gonna look. Oh, you're gonna have to get that tattoo removed.
Well, we don't like that. That's distracting. We don't like that thing. Just go real quick. But yeah, and it was one of those things where it was like if you're just like, "Oh, hey, we need you to also do this," I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure, whatever." But it's
Right.
"Oh, you didn't know? Like, you should have done this already." I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I've had one surgery before, or one. I mean, when I was a kid, I was in and out of the hospital a lot.
Yeah.
I don't really remember those, but like in my like adultish life, I've had one thing done. It was on my knee, so like it was totally different, you
Right.
know.
Right. They needed
Definitely not like potentially life
No,
threatening.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, Gabby, you
I'm
should have.
guessing it was
you should have realized-
Yeah,
too, right?
totally.
Yeah.
You should have realized when, just like with your knee, they would have had you take your knee piercings out.
I mean, I'm an idiot.
So
Usually only old people have those, and those are permanent.
Oh,
True.
sorry, that's a bolt in my knee. We don't like it. It's got to go.
That's a
They're
bolt.
permanent.
Oh, really? Do they come out? Oh gosh, that's horrible.
but
I
yeah.
guess I mean I will
Replacements.
say I have heard of I have heard that people sometimes need new screws, so that's
Yeah.
that's crazy.
because their
But anyways.
their screw got loose, so they needed to.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it sounds.
Moving on, but
Oh.
no, Gabby, that's crazy.
Do we have
But-
a Gabby's thought?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say because in that I've just been watching and playing a lot of games and things. So I've two things we can talk about.
Oh.
One is just like a thought I had because of a movie, or two, we could talk about how fucking problematic the game Paper Mario is. Because holy shit.
I'm guessing you're talking about the newer one.
Yeah.
The only experience I have with that is watching Max Mofo play it, and when he plays it, it's very entertaining. But you have to tell me some. Is there mechanical issues in the game?
No.
Story.
So
Story issues.
So Zach bought it because Zach's been a sweetheart and helping me survive and eat and not just be totally miserable and laying there in silence and not eating anything.
So you're saying you were less miserable when he was around?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
That tends to happen with somebody you're dating. But I think like
Different
mechanically,
experiences.
I mean, one can only hope.
yeah, it's a new one. What
It's
it's
been so long for me.
origami.
So this
Zach can talk. Okay.
This is Paper Mario.
Zach can talk about this probably more than I can, but I just, of course, went to all the themes of it. Mechanically, you could probably talk about
You
it.
can talk about it. This
more.
is Paper Mario, the Origami.
I did
Kingdom.
not sign up for all the fascism.
Oh.
Whoa!
There's a lot of fascism.
It was
I am so in the
like-
dark on this game.
Okay, when did
See, it
it
is a
come out?
kingdom.
Like a year or two ago?
2019.
2019. Okay, so 2 years ago.
No.
So the whole concept. I mean, if you want to go play Paper Mario Origami Hierarchy or whatever it's called, I don't know.
We're renaming it because it's more appropriate that.
Well,
to
it is
be that name.
Nintendo. so-
Or whatever it is. Like, don't listen to me and go do it or whatever. But like, hard off the bat, it's like they're paper and the villain has come in and he's like origami and he's turning them into origami, and it's this whole like, join us, we're superior, I can't believe you're mingling with the flat people, like we must cleanse this kingdom of the whatever. And like Princess Peach comes out and she's like the first origami one, and it's just like, she's like, join me in the better place, and I'm like, bruh. It was I mean, throughout the whole thing, like it was like,
come to find out, Hitler was super into origami.
Apparently.
but I mean, it was
The back of mine.
It was. There were very strong themes of conversion.
yes.
Of trying to convert
Right.
everything into origami because
Convert
it's
or
better
die.
and cooler.
Well,
But the-
and,
I mean,
well, no,
I-
and but like the flushing out of like the old inferior race,
Right.
like
Well, so the entire thing. So normally in Mario games, right, you're fighting Bowser and Bowser's like minions.
and
Right.
because he took Peach or whatever.
Or sure, whatever. In this,
Or you just want to.
you end up
Sure.
teaming up with Bowser and his minions because they're all paper still, and the origami like guy is
Something
not
else.
related to Bowser at all, right? Has some magic powers,
Totally different.
whatever, totally different. Just kidnapped a bunch of Bowser's minions and folded them
And Peach.
against their will into origami, and Peach and some other things, and a bunch of toads and stuff like that. And so the entire time you're like working with like you'll run into and save like a Koopa Troopa that is paper and have to kill the origami versions that all in there, and it's all text based. There's no like voices.
Yeah.
But all the text is like super warbled, and they're like trying to portray that they're like zombieified.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Right. And so they're like, they don't really have thoughts. They're very robotic in their movements, and everything is very much like culty.
Yeah.
And like you're forced to be there.
Well-
They have no free will.
Yeah.
There's no like, stuff like that.
But it's also like to the promised kingdom that will be better because he's transforming it and making it better, and you're like, what the?
Yeah.
fuck?
The third Reich.
Okay, so you have this. Yes, basically. I mean,
third fold.
there were a few times because at the same time, the dynamic is like, I'm 5 because it's like how they play. There's so much like, so you have, so the main origami evil king guy, his sister, who's annoying as fuck, is your like sidekick, like, hey,
Yeah, she's-
listen, like she's that.
Yeah, she's like helping
And
you fight
she
against them,
is
yeah.
the similarities to her and Dora the Explorer I cannot explain to you enough.
She speaks in Spanish.
No, but she's just like,
Okay, bueno.
Do you know where the map is?
yeah, she's like, do you see the stairs? And it's like, yeah, the ones we just made, you idiot.
I was gonna
Like,
say,
No,
watching
it is-
Max Mofo.
It is to the point of like you're 3/4 of the way through this game.
Yeah.
And you walk into an area you've already been in that has now changed, and there's like a staircase now, and upon entering, she pops out and goes, hey, look, there's a new staircase. We should probably go near there. And then there's a door off to your left, and you walk in and decide, nah, I'll go to the door on the left. She goes, hey, we should go through that staircase. It seems important, and stops you and forces you and not allowing you to go through this door on the left.
And you end up needing to go through the door on the left anyway. Because
because of whatever, but it forces you to go up the stairs first. Forces you to go up the stairs and then like discover, we can't get across this thing. Maybe we should go back and check that other door. And then you have to go down and like go through that
Are
door.
you sure
and
it's
do
not
whatever.
on like walk me through mode or something?
We looked it up.
Oh, really?
To see if there's a way to
Okay.
turn this off.
everybody
Dude,
was
I would
complaining about it.
rage.
There was no way.
Interesting, because I was gonna say I've
hate
seen some
stupid
playthroughs.
Because
And
this is
it-
combined
That's giving
with the,
me like
Okay,
flashbacks
but it's
to
like- but
Mass
I-
Effect 3.
Well, no, but I'm just sitting there and I'm
See,
waiting,
your
and
choices don't matter.
I'm waiting for her. Her name is Olivia, by the way, the annoying like little sister princess origami lady, and she pops up, and I'm just waiting for her to be like, "Can you help me raise the Third Reich?" Like,
Wait, but to be clear, isn't she helping?
she's
you
helping
fight?
you fight her.
Whatever,
brother.
but
She's,
like,
And I was
she's the
gonna say-
resistance.
Also, yeah, she's Princess Leia.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
true.
But I was
Actually,
gonna-
yeah.
To be
accurate.
fair, this this game, I want to be clear. Mario's fighting the fascism.
Yes.
Yes.
You're,
I just
you're
wanted to be-
against the fascists.
You're
helping
anti,
fight, yeah.
You're anti-genocide.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
anti-fascist.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's just the
But
difference.
why is Princess Peach like
She got folded.
She was forcibly
folded.
folded.
forcibly?
So basically,
Correct.
Yeah.
So she, okay.
yeah, there's a
Wow,
lot.
there's
of,
some connotations.
Yeah,
Okay,
in that.
so
Yeah.
this is my point. You have
Yeah.
these huge themes, but then the way it plays through, it's like you're a child, and I'm like, who's the audience?
Right.
It is
because
definitely
you have that,
for,
and then you also have like the boss fights, which are actually really fun and dynamic.
Yeah.
But like
Some of
me,
them are hard.
as a 23-year-old adult who plays games consistently
who makes
And, like,
games.
that's your
and makes
job.
games, right?
Yeah.
Like through these boss fights, I'm sitting there struggling on some of them
Right.
and like thinking through the puzzles and be like, okay, well, let's try this, and then this doesn't work. Let's try this,
Right.
and this doesn't work. And I'm like, but then half of the game is also like you're 4 years old, and I'm like, who is the audience? Right?
Well,
Who are the-
you'll
who's the-
know. Just look on the box. What's the ages?
I don't remember. I'm sure it's
probably
like
Y7.
I'm
Oh,
probably
yeah.
sure it's. I would be surprised if it's
Rated
older
M for
than
mature.
10.
Oh, yeah.
My guess is it's
Like
18.
if with the recommended age, I'm guessing it's
But
like
it-
7
and then
or
you
10
have-
or yeah E. Yeah.
that combined with then you have these like weird like fascist themes and like really adult.
Like I know we're
themes.
saying it a
Yeah,
lot.
no.
I know we're saying it a lot, but like guys, it was like scary how prevalent it was sometimes. Where it's just like, really?
Also-
And then
Kids
sometimes
gotta
they
learn
throw
about
in words like, I'm very perplexed right now, and I'm like, what? And then other times they're like,
This
this
for them-
sucks, and I'm like, what is
Hey,
going on?
This is for them educated kids, all right? It's for them smart.
There was a word that they used. There were a couple words. that
Superfluous.
Yeah, they used superfluous for. I can't even say it. Proof. I've never
There's- yeah.
heard that word. I didn't know what it
Oh,
meant.
really? You
No.
never heard the word before?
No.
But either
Oh,
way,
dude, yeah.
so if you think
Superfluous is a
about
great
that-
word. Yeah.
But
Wouldn't
for
use
like
it on
an
a Sunday
8-year-old,
morning, though.
like,
Anyways,
but that for like an 8-year-old is like what? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
It is
I-
rated E for everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it is E.
Jeez,
I was
dude.
gonna say because number one, the things that lead me to believe that number one's a Mario game.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Mario,
I knew it
and
was rated for
Paper
kids.
Mario, like the originals, were fairly simple from what I remember.
yeah.
I do remember as I was watching some of this playthrough with Max, which obviously is like hilarious because he's just an Australian and he's
sure.
like cussing at it the whole time and like what the fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
But super entertaining. But anyway, when he's going through it, there's some of the stuff going on that he comments on too, but it's mostly like funny, and so
Sure.
just being adults watching it, I'm
Right.
just like, oh,
Right, right.
haha, funny. But I didn't think about like who it's aimed at and who it's like for.
Like,
and
don't get me wrong.
it's-
We
but-
had a lot of fun
it's
playing
interesting.
through
Wait.
it.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed playing.
Right.
it.
There's like a whole mechanic
Besides-
where you're just like finding toads because they're folded up and stuck in places. And
right,
it's awesome.
and you have to find them.
It's so
and
cute.
yeah, yeah.
Is this
And I thought that was great. obviously the Olivia
Super
part
Paper
gives-
Mario?
No, it's
No.
Paper Mario and
Oh.
the
Paper Mario-
Origami Kingdom.
God, I just-
origami.
I read Super Paper Mario's description and just
no,
I'm gonna have
no,
nightmares
sorry,
now.
Tim. Sorry, Tim. No.
because it literally reads, Mario and Luigi are enjoying a lazy afternoon at their house. Blah blah blah. Princess Peach has been kidnapped. The two brothers head straight for Bowser's castle to get her back, but Bowser is just as surprised about Peach's kidnapping as they are. At that moment, a strange top-hatted villain warps in and abducts everyone but Mario. The mysterious villain then forces Peach and Bowser to get married, creating
I know
a
that one.
rift of
Yeah.
dark energy that threatens to tear the universe apart.
I remember that one.
I will say, to be fair, the Paper Mario specifically franchise has always had that more adult theme.
Correct.
Because of the fact that they've always done it as an RPG, right? It is the Mario RPG where you level up and you get weapons and you're fighting. It's not just a platform.
It's definitely not a slide.
Okay.
It is cool. And so because
the
of
Origami
that,
Kingdom is E2 as well.
But I will
because
say
there's nothing gory or nothing like
it's all the imagery.
overtly sexual or anything like that. But yes, you're right. Even though it may be rated E, it doesn't necessarily mean that anyone should.
Are we talking about the same game as this is describing?
Probably.
A new paper-crafted Mario adventure unfolds on Nintendo Switch. The kingdom has been ravaged by an origami menace. Join Mario and his new partner, Olivia, as they battle evil folded soldiers, repair the damaged landscape, and try to free Princess Peach's castle from the clutches of King Ollie in this comedy-filled adventure. Only on Nintendo Switch.
I will say one of the best characters is Bowser. In it, he always has like some stupid ass
I'm walking
so
faster
over
and I'm
this
with
shit.
my face.
He's the realest character in it. Here, he's like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm so over this. And this guy's an idiot, and like the whole time.
Great.
But I will say
the top
near
review
the
on
end,
GameStop is a 1-star review.
I will say near the end when you rescue Bowser because he's like captured. And you're coming back to the kingdom, he's constantly making these like subtle remarks on how much he wants to impress Peach by like rescuing her. He's like, he says stuff like, I need to be there when we rescue Peach, or like, oh, I'm so glad I'm unfolded now because it'll impress her. It'll impress Peach, and I don't want to look like that when we rescue her. I was like, that's funny because the previous Paper Mario games where they were like forced to be married and stuff.
Well, and isn't that why he always kidnaps her in the old one?
It's never been confirmed,
right?
But it's like it's one of those things. I mean, the question is, who is Bowser Jr.'s mom?
That was my question. I was like, because Bowser Jr. is in the game, and I was like, who's his mom?
And
you never know.
In other games, not in this one, in other games, Bowser Jr. calls Peach mom. And is that just like a word he's using to describe her? Is that like
stepmom?
Yeah, I don't know.
So in the cartoon,
there's a lot of Mario lore.
I was gonna say there's a lot of iterations. Yeah.
In the cartoon, Bowser introduces Peach to Bowser Jr. as his new mom.
Oh, there you go.
Right.
So in the cartoon, they get around it by saying it's Bowser claiming that this is the new mom.
And I was thinking that too. Like he could have just been like, "Hey son, that's your mom," and so he's like, "Okay, mom."
Right.
Or this will be your mom, so just start calling her mom.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Yeah. Who knows?
Is it one of those that like overall was fun and like helped my hours go by of like being sad? Yes. Like
there were a lot of like pretty cool.
Well, that's good.
If you liked if you enjoy like Legend of Zelda, like Wind Waker, where it's like still like that cartoony like kitty vibe.
Well, and also just like, hey, here's
the
ocean, like go sail the ocean.
There's a lot of similar themes and mechanics and stuff with that game. Like
it's almost like they're made by the same company.
Oh yeah. Okay. But there's like a whole area, like there's a whole like area where you're on the ocean and you're like just boating around, visiting and discovering different islands and stuff, and that very much reminded me of Wind Waker.
Totally.
And that stuff was fun. I will say I would recommend it. I just wish they added an option where you could just dumb down Olivia's like help because it is an obnoxious amount. Like it is to the point of a lot of people would just quit and stop playing.
Like she had like a near-death experience, and I got like excited.
Yeah, well, I will say Max when I watched him play it, and you can imagine. I mean, Zach watches him too, and you can imagine how he would react.
Yeah.
You know, it's really funny. He would get really pissed off at her, and he'd be like, "Shut the fuck up, bitch!"
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I said that a lot.
He'd get so angry at her. He'd be like, "No one fucking cares."
I will say that was a very common line while we were playing.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, because she'd just be talking about something, and when he was first playing it, he thought, "Oh, the thing she's saying, maybe I need to pay attention because this is important."
Sure.
And then he like quickly realized like, what the hell is happening here?
Well, you think in in the beginning, it's like, okay, she's teaching you how to play the game.
Sure.
She's showing you these mechanics.
Yeah.
She's doing this thing. Cool. For the first like 20 minutes, that's how it should be. And then it also lasted for the next 6 hours. It never stopped.
Dude, well, to transition, I'm glad you were entertained in your time of needing entertainment, so that's a good thing. But I was gonna say, but you brought up Wind Waker.
Yeah.
I was jonesing to play Wind Waker this week. And I don't think I have it on my computer anymore. So
I still have it.
Okay, I might need it. I'm just saying, yeah.
I might need it.
Because I looked it up and I thought Zach and I have been talking when we were at his birthday party. I was talking about getting a Switch. I still have never had a Switch. Yeah. And so I was thinking about getting one, and I was like, oh, is Wind Waker on the Switch? You know, because I was like backwards compatible.
Not, is it?
I looked it up. No, it's definitely
I would
not.
definitely
Like
buy it
the
if it
last
was.
thing that they remade it for, they made it HD for the
Wii U.
For the Wii U.
Yeah.
Right.
That was it. And I was
I'm-
like, well, I'm not going to get a stupid
I'm
Wii
waiting
U.
for them to port it. They would make so much money if they just ported it to the Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, they port the Legend of Zelda game that they ported over was Skyward Sword. They ported over Skyward Sword, which is
Right.
originally made for the Wii and was the shitty one with the motion controls, where you
Right.
couldn't actually do anything but motion controls for that
Right.
game. And they ported it over to the Switch
Wasn't that also
with
the one
the
where he
option
was
to turn
left-handed?
off the motion controls.
Perfect.
And that's the only thing they changed.
Oh.
But I guarantee they made a shit ton of money on
Oh
it.
yeah, and
What-
that was a crappier version.
Was that the same game where they made Link left-handed?
I think so.
Yeah, because no, and then
Yeah, I
they
don't
just
know.
mirrored the whole game because most people are right-handed.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, and it's so weird because
Yeah, I remember
in that game,
Yeah, so
in that
he's
game,
like-
the mechanics are that you have to like, even if you're not motion controlled, you still have to like swipe up with the stick to like slice upwards,
Right.
and then like
Oh.
slice down and like slice at an angle because you have to like block,
Jeez.
and they tried to make it way too dynamic. I'm like, I just want to click X and just mash
Yeah.
and just smash pots.
Well, I think
Okay.
if you have a
Yeah, that's
controller,
That's all I'm here for.
yeah, unless you're like,
Why are there
literally-
buttons if I'm not pressing them?
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
it's like unless you have like a VR system or something, why make it like that?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
like either
It's
go
because
all the
Nintendo-
way or don't go half-ass this.
It was
thing.
made for the Wii.
Never
You have to think about
half-ass
the
two
games that
things.
came out on the Wii,
That's
right?
true, but I
Wii
don't know.
Sports.
I was
The Wii
never
was-
a fan of any. The Wii Sports was the best thing that was
Using
controlled.
motion controls, yeah.
I think so.
I agree.
And
I
it's the
still
most basic thing, and that's why it was good.
Yeah.
I still remember whatever the bowling one was.
Bowling tennis, bro.
It's called bowling.
Whatever. I never
We're just
had.
talking about Wii Sports.
Yeah,
bowling?
yeah.
It's called
Wii Sports Bowling.
I think it's
Wii bowling?
specifically called Wii Bowl or something. Yeah.
What I never had a Wii. The point is,
Oh.
when I was playing with a friend of mine, I was thinking, oh, bowling. Like I used to bowl, so I
Sure.
know what that is. So
Why do you say that like you were in a tragic bowling accident?
No.
or something like
Once.
I once bowled.
well, no, I was in
Never again.
I was in a bowling league, and then
You were in a league?
then I
Shit, dude.
then I found other things to do.
I took bowling. I took bowling in college for a PE course.
There you go.
And I
That's cool.
legitimately got better. It
Yeah.
was pretty fun.
Anyway, I thought that was like what you were supposed to do for that game was to do the like.
Oh, you didn't realize you're just supposed to just casually flick
You
your
just flick
remote.
it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
barely-
And my
you
my
barely
friend
move it. It's just
my-
like that.
my friend who owned the Wii that we were playing on was just sitting on the couch, like throwing his hand up every
Yeah.
now and then. I was like,
Yeah.
"Wait, what's going on?"
Yeah.
I thought every commercial about the Wii I've seen is like people on their feet
Nah.
doing
Oh,
all
yeah.
of these things, and
Well,
then I
of course
realized,
they're going to show them being super interactive.
That's what they
Right.
want you to do.
Don't get me wrong. I will say, whenever
but then
me
he
and my
beat me
friends,
playing tennis, and I was like, "I
Yes.
don't get it. You're still sitting on the couch."
No, I will say this: whenever me and my friends, because bowling is not. I mean, come on, it's not that interactive anyway. But when me and my friends would play tennis, we would actually get into it, and we would all stand up. So
Okay.
that was a lot of fun.
Oh, I would stand up, but I
Yeah.
would still just flick my wrist.
I mean,
Like,
no,
I'm
yes,
not
don't get me
swinging
wrong.
My
I was
favorite-
definitely not swinging
Dude.
my whole arm. Yeah.
No, my
yeah.
favorite is people like sitting on the couch playing Just Dance, where they're just like
Yeah, there you go. There you
one
go.
hand just
Yeah.
like flicking.
You're like,
back
you
and
really.
forth.
what's the
And
you're in
it's
the
like-
spirit of it. Yeah.
And it's like perfect, wow. Versus like some of my friends would be like actually like trying to do it, I'm sitting on the chair just like flicking my wrist around. And it's
Yeah.
like perfect, excellent,
Yeah.
perfect.
And there's
perfect.
like fair,
Yeah,
bad,
okay.
try again, you suck.
Oh, I've watched it. They've done a couple game nights, but the cast from Critical Role will do just dance things,
Yeah, yeah.
and they get the three guys to do
perfect.
it, and 2 of them are trying, and then Matt Mercer is standing there going, I'm going to move my hand like that and like that.
And we're done.
And that, and I'm getting all perfects, and everybody
Yep.
else is like, I'm trying to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, I think it's just a better understanding of game mechanics.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The other, I think Wii motion control game that actually was really fun was Mario and Sonic Winter Games for the Wii.
Oh, I've heard that
Okay.
was a really good one. I've never
That game
played
was
that.
actually really fun. They had a
Yeah.
lot of interesting, cool, fun games with it. You could
Yeah.
do a lot of. I mean, the best ones were just like the creative. Was like snowboarding and skiing and stuff. But inspired by that, we got, and what you could do with that is you could just set up like a series, which was fun. You could just set up a series of events and then just like go through and play them. Inspired by that, I bought. Caleb and I bought, my roommate, we bought the new Tokyo Olympics Summer Games,
Oh.
Mario and Sonic, for the Switch.
Oh.
There are a couple of pretty decent games, but they didn't add an ability where you could just set a series of games and just play them.
They didn't carry that over.
Like you have to
Oh.
manually go out and go into each
Every
individual
single-
game and like set up a game. And I'm like, why? Like, why not just
So you can only do one at a time.
one at a time?
versus setting up.
And
say,
it was
4 or
just like a
6
score
or-
for that one game. Whereas what we
Oh.
do on the winter one is we'd get it people, team of, you'd have 4 people playing.
Right.
And
Do
you would just
different
do like
events
6
and
different
stuff.
games.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it would score you all the way. They would show you all your scores would add up, or like your medals or whatever would add up, and whoever had the most would win the series. And I was like, that was a lot of fun.
Well, that makes it feel like it's the Olympics.
I guess.
Well,
I
no,
don't
but
know.
also you just don't have the hassle of having to set up every individual one. So you're
Yeah.
saving
Right.
what? I don't know,
Yeah.
5 to 10 minutes for each game.
Yeah, it's
That's huge.
But yeah, it was,
Plus,
it's
you
a
get
whole-
the score that racks up over multiple games.
Right.
It's like imagine if you were playing Mario Kart and you got to race one race and then you got kicked out, and then you're like,
Yeah.
now we got
And
to
then you
set
have
up a
to
whole new
remember
race.
your score from the other
Yeah,
one
and
if
you're
you're
like,
trying
how
to
the
like
fuck?
do
Yeah,
it.
like
Yeah.
you have to have a manual scorekeeper. Like,
Yeah.
We playing
I
Yahtzee
was
over
just-
here? No.
where's my pencil and pad? You know what I'm curious? They always had on the back of the box a number you could call where you could literally order new pads. Because
Oh,
eventually you'd run
for
you'd run
Yahtzee?
out. Yeah, you'd run out of them. You'd run out. I mean,
Ah.
effectively, if you ever played through that much.
Right.
So I'm always curious if anyone ever, if you ever did
I'm
that.
sure people did.
Please let us know if you ever did that, because I'm just curious of the people who would do that. I'm also sure that now you probably can buy them as like
Yeah.
a separate pack in the store or whatever.
Right.
But there was a time where you had to call the
Yeah,
company.
you can get 80 scorecards for $16.
That's pretty good.
I don't
Yeah.
know if that's pretty good.
I don't know about that.
I don't think that's pretty good.
No. 80 as in like 80 like
80
notebooks?
sheets.
It's at 80 scorecards.
80 scorecards.
Meaning
Cards.
80
$16.
sheets.
Oh. Okay.
So that's like-
not as good.
20 a piece?
Well, I don't know what it is
is
now when he says scorecard, because it used to be just a mini little
Yeah.
notepad. It
No,
used to
what he
not
means
be-
scorecard. A single scorecard is one sheet on that notepad.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
Right.
80 of them.
well, that's kind of
So
expensive.
each pack,
I mean,
pad probably has 80 score
Right.
sheets.
So-
on it.
you can
You know
get
what you do?
120 score pads
Oh.
for $5.69 on Amazon.
There you
Oh,
go.
well,
there you go.
That's the,
See,
way to
that's
go.
that's what I see. That's what I'm talking
And that's
about.
large size. That's
don't
eight.
call
That's-
Amazon.
yeah,
Or
that's-
don't call Yahtzee. Go to
Call-
Amazon.
Wait,
Call
wait,
Amazon.
wait for it. That's 8.5 by 11s.
You know what?
Oh, wow.
Oh
Whoa.
shit!
Yeah,
That's like real.
yeah.
Big scores.
Big
Grandma can play.
Yeah.
Big stonks.
I can see
Grandma
the
playing on the
numbers.
weekends numbers
Hey,
right
you like
there.
this? They can get you the original ones,
Oh,
the original score sheets. They can get you 888
Nice.
for $10.
Sick.
Hell yeah.
wow! There must be something about that
Hell
number.
yeah.
But that's
Yeah, it's 3 of a
interesting.
kind.
Oh, that's right, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I also just thought of something. I wonder if you can call Amazon and order through the phone.
I'm sure they have some sort of line for that. Like
They've
that
gotta have
for
something.
older
There's gotta be
people.
something.
Because there's got to be people who are like, I don't have. What's your number, Amazon?
And I am sure those people on the phone, they have the worst life.
Have you seen that one? Okay, it's one of my favorite.
the worst
It's
life.
one of my favorite
Just
images
imagine
that
if-
circled for a while, and it's like somebody chatting with like Amazon help, like asking about an order,
Yeah.
and they were like, okay, thank you. Are you doing all right too? And the Amazon buyer probably like, haha, no, I'm depressed and I'm having a really hard time. And then immediately it's like another Amazon message and it's like, we're sorry about that former like comment. It's been addressed and we'll sign or connect you with the new employee soon. And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He's being replaced. Don't worry about him. He's
And then
going to
underneath
the
it, somebody
holding
just
cell.
put the like there is no war in Ba Sing Se photo underneath
Oh,
it.
dang it,
my
I was just trying to
gosh.
think of what her name was.
Judy.
Judy.
Yeah.
Judy. Like next thing you know, you got.
There's no war.
Hi,
Poor
I'm
Judy,
Judy.
man.
And it
I
was
would
such
like
that
to
vibe.
help
There's
Yeah,
like
Amazon.
5 different numbers for
there
customer
you go.
service.
Really? No.
Yeah.
See, see. I wonder if you can
Yes.
order with them. That's my only.
I
Thing.
probably not.
I'm
They,
curious.
they can help you. All of the
Somebody-
customer services say they can help you with orders,
Somebody call Amazon.
but
and see
I
if you
assume
can
that
order.
means the
Call
order's already
Jeff.
happened.
Call Jeff. Call his direct cell phone. His personal line is one of those 5 numbers you can call. It's a
Russian
lottery.
roulette.
You gotta get it. You're just like, oh, hello. You know, it's like, oh, is this Jeff? Yeah. Wow.
I'm in space right
Yeah.
now. What are you doing?
in a big penis rocket.
A pocket.
A pocket. That's fantastic. That was good, guys.
Is that a pocket in your
Yeah.
pocket?
But,
Yes.
Um,
That is a pocket within a pocket.
Yeah.
there you go. My one other thought I did have, and this was more just like my traditional like random thoughts I was having, was also in the recovery downtime. I really wanted to watch Indiana Jones, so we watched Indiana Jones. 'Cause it's a good movie. And I had that thought where I was like, man, when does like, where's the line between like grave robbing and archaeology? Because at some point
That's a good question.
there's a difference.
Is the culture
I'll
still
say-
around?
You know, the difference is just if you got permission. So,
He didn't get permission,
well, yeah.
and he's a good
So,
archaeologist.
Yeah, I know. But it also would be less adventurous if he did. You know what I mean? If he just went through a bunch
Oh,
of like bureaucratic legal
wait,
shit,
no.
and in the meantime the bad guy just steals it, then it'd be like, oh, this is lame.
Oh.
I know the answer to Gabby's question.
Yeah.
The line is it are we still in colonialism? Have we not yet recognized what colonialism is? So once society recognizes what colonialism is, then it becomes stealing.
This is a nerd answer. I don't know.
Yeah, no. The simple answer.
Nerd.
Hey, my
No.
girlfriend. My
It's the
girlfriend
British-
literally
it's-
digs up like old
Right,
bones and
right,
stuff.
but
I
it's
know
the
that, which
it's
is probably what I'm known
archaeology.
as.
Well, so what I'm saying is, all you need is whoever owns the land.
now.
I mean, yes. How are you going to ask people who owned
Well, the point with Indiana Jones is
What
he's,
does it
he's
matter who
during
owned it?
he's
Yeah, I
200
mean,
years
yeah. I
ago.
mean, to be fair,
Indiana
You gonna
Jones is
argue
during the
with
30s. So
Oh,
in the 1930s, we weren't yet
but it was
Rec-
shot in the
okay.
80s.
Okay, but the point is
So
the point.
They dig.
Okay, so the point is the movie is set in a time
Yeah.
in which archaeology and grave robbing were indistinguishable.
maybe to the public.
Well, even to museums,
Dude, no,
museums.
still when they would go and do.
Dude, they were breaking into pyramids and taking stuff to the British Museum in the 1930s.
They were. You are right that they were
So-
taking things, but I don't. The difference is I don't think that they were like sneaking in. I don't think anyone didn't know they were there. I
Yeah,
think it was
but they-
more. It was more like
no one was gonna stop them.
Right. So yeah. So is it stealing? We'll put like an asterisk next to it. Right. But like the difference is they're not just like breaking and entering. Right. They're not sneaking in at night and taking it and going like
So-
you know.
So my answer was or I'll remove colonialism from it. When England started feeling guilty about pillaging the world, that's when the line happened, and
Yeah.
people started asking for permission.
Yes, although I will say in America, like we, you know, they've done that for a while, but yeah, basically the short answer is just if you ask whoever owns it now, that's the best you can do. You know, you just ask whoever's living there and be like, hey, can we dig on your property? If they say yes, good for you. Then you have permission. You're good to go. You know, and sometimes it's about it's like you know they'll dig in like old, you know, grave sites or burial areas, literally to remove bodies that were not properly what's the word?
You talking about
Buried.
Canada?
Well, that's one of the things, yes. But sometimes
Canada doesn't know how to bury people.
they'll dig into areas where they will, basically they didn't have a proper burial, and so they will remove the
what?
bodies
It's
just to
because
actually
of
go
the
and rebury
church.
them in other
You know,
places.
the whole Jesus thing
So-
kind of threw them off. The 3
Yeah.
days and the
They weren't sure.
ever since then they just haven't
Wow.
figured
They
it
got
out.
confused
They didn't
after that
understand.
one.
I wasn't sure where you're going with that, but then I
They're
was like, oh yeah, Lazarus and Jesus really messed with people.
Yeah, they're like, wait, so just a soft dirt burial? So wait,
If we
You
put them
mean
in
he's
the
gonna
ground,
walk
that
out
doesn't
in
mean they
3
stay
days?
there
yeah,
anymore.
they will. Yeah.
It's like people didn't take the zombie warning.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you're like vampires, dude. They used to people who were suspected of vampirism, they would put a rock in their mouth.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy.
Sick.
Yes.
If they thought you
Now that's metal, dude.
if they
I
thought
doubt
you were a
they-
Get
witch,
your iron
I would
that
say
way.
that,
Hey, I
that'll
got-
I get
fix
my
your
iron through
anemia.
solids.
if
I
they
don't
thought
think
you
they
were a
put
witch,
a rock
they'd
in
ha-
their mouth.
They did.
Yeah.
I bet they bashed their teeth in and left the rock in.
Well,
Oh.
You know what I mean?
they find skulls
Because
and the
if-
rock.
what
a
if they
The
don't-
rock
vampire
is
with fangs.
no. See, that's
gonna
also, but
bust his
a lot of
teeth.
what we think of vampires is now popularized stuff, and
What if they just put the rock in their mouth and they're like,
Bite on me.
well, when they were burying them, rigor mortis probably would have set in. So actually, they probably had to get that rock in there pretty quick, like within 24 hours or something.
Yeah. Well,
Happy Dead Day.
Because
Here's your
I only
rock.
know this. I only know this because I watched a thing on like Discovery or something like that, and they dug up. They were digging up bodies. I forget why, in Europe somewhere.
Did they ask?
I think
no.
they did. I think actually the point was that
it's
they
Europe
were.
and it's probably Eastern Europe, so there was no one.
It was
there.
definitely Eastern Europe, yeah. And I think
Yeah.
they were moving them to build something.
Yeah.
That makes
something
sense.
crazy. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, I forget
The other
why.
buildings are bombed out.
But they did. I know they did. So they dug them up, and so I got to see one, and it's
Sorry,
just
Czech
it's
Republic.
actually it's just like a stone that's like as big as like you see like your fist, and it's as if they just opened the mouth and then just inserted it, but they didn't bash out the teeth because the teeth were still there. So they
Happy
didn't do
Dead
that.
Day.
They just opened it, and basically it was as if you were biting the rock. That's how they put it in your mouth, like a Pac-Man kind of thing. It was like
Pez dispenser.
yeah, no, yeah, literally, like a pet. Yeah, that's it. It's like a Pez dispenser. So that's they'd have them bite it, and so I don't know what the thought process there was, but yeah,
They definitely missed an opportunity there.
what was the opportunity?
Knock some teeth out.
What?
If you think someone's a vampire and they're dead,
Again,
and you're gonna go through the effort
I'm
of
not
You're
putting a
talking
rock in their
modern
mouth.
lore of like vampirism, I think, versus like what they understood it as. I don't know, because it's like the steak and stuff that came about later. There's a lot of mixed lore about werewolves and vampires, and they're not the same thing. and,
I just mean if it bites me
yeah,
and drinks my blood, like that's
Spider-Man.
enough for me.
to bash his teeth out.
Yeah.
Well, good luck doing that to a mosquito.
Yeah.
Oh, every day.
You throw rocks at mosquitoes? Good luck.
I would.
No,
I would be
Finds them,
severe.
He's very meticulous.
Oh, he's
He
just
pins
tiny.
them by their wings to a wall,
Oh shit!
and then he
That's
takes
dark.
his rock and bashes their teeth in.
Do mosquitoes
All right,
have
Along
teeth?
with the rest of their
No.
body.
So-
Yeah, oh, I
No.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Their mouth is literally like a proboscis.
I guess it's just a
it's like
tube,
it's literally
yeah.
like a needle, and it's
By
just,
teeth, I mean the rest of their body.
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
their whole body.
He just takes a rock and smashes.
No, I'm just imagining Cameron like throwing rocks around his lawn. Everybody's like, "What's wrong with him?" He's like, "Oh, that's old man Cameron. We don't talk about him."
Okay,
Old
okay,
man
okay.
Cameron.
So,
His
out
dreads
in the
and his
Durham-
beard are just real long, like down by his waist. He's like,
Dude,
I hear him.
yeah.
out in the
Chucking
Durham.
pebbles
You
at
know,
us.
you guys got he's got a
Mosquitoes
pocket
are
full of
bad.
pebbles. It's like,
Guys, out in the Durham, mosquitoes are gnarly. I don't have any
Out-
screens on.
Out in the Durham.
Out in the Durham.
Out in the Durham.
I don't have any screens on my windows, and so I'll have the window open.
wait,
and
okay,
mosquitoes
okay.
will just
This
come in.
sounds like a you problem. What do you mean?
Yes.
You know you have no screens on your windows and you leave them open?
It gets 100 degrees. You're
How
not
does
gonna
it?
crack
Okay,
the window.
I have to ask you. How does it help to open the windows when it's that hot outside?
You ever been in 100 degrees and not had a breeze?
Yes.
It's
You don't
not-
have a fan in your house?
Yeah, I do. But
Yeah,
it
I'm
doesn't
telling you-
always help.
What I'm telling you is it's literally worse to have the windows open.
A breeze is pretty nice.
I mean, maybe
nice,
once the
cool
sun has gone
breeze.
down for multiple hours and it's like at least, midnight, maybe.
Anything past 5 p.m., having a window open is pretty nice.
I gotta tell you.
I
That's
I mean, the
not true.
hottest time of the day.
Yeah, the hottest
is
time of the
5
day.
to 7.
It still goes until like 7 p.m., man.
Yeah.
So you gotta in the heat of our summer, you've got to leave your window closed till minimum 9, probably 10 p.m. By the time the sun actually goes down.
How about I open my windows when I want? It's
Well,
hot
Jen,
in my
don't
place.
complain about mosquitoes in your house.
No.
That's all I'm
No,
saying.
I can.
You can open them whenever you want. That's true. I'm just.
You know,
I
the
thought we were
problem-
talking about mosquitoes.
The problem
I'm
with the
sorry.
mosquitoes
I'm
where
sorry.
you're at, Cameron, the problem with those mosquitoes is that there's just so much blood to drink.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You know, it's
they're
just
coming for you,
and
man.
they just
you got them
come
iron
out of
supplements.
everywhere. They're nasty things.
Oh, dude, mosquitoes hate me. I barely get bit.
there's
Mosquitoes
not
hate
enough
her.
iron in your blood.
Yeah, no, straight up,
Yeah.
they'll come and they just like will land for like 2 seconds.
You know
and
what's
they're
funny?
Like, nah. And
They
I'm like,
suck
okay,
your
bye.
blood and then they go to fly off and they just fall. They're like, I
No,
didn't
they
get
try
enough.
to like drink or
No,
whatever,
they do
and they're
it.
just like, "There's not enough." So
They do it. They're like, wait, where is it?
"No, wait, what did you say?" One
Oh, I said
time?
that's weak ass blood.
No,
That's
that's
not
no,
weak shit.
that's that shaky blood.
Oh, that's what it
what
was.
he
Yeah.
said.
Shaky blood.
That's a shaky blood.
When they go to fly off, you can see it. They're all like,
That's
they're all
He's just like,
messed up.
"That's that shaky blood." I don't like that.
Like, I'm all messed up, dude. I was gonna say, you know what's funny? Earlier, when you were saying how you hadn't eaten for like 14 hours or whatever, and then you were, feeling it.
And then also not taking my meds. Yeah, that's great.
Right. When I go to give, I actually, I eat normal like the day before,
Mhm.
but I usually give like sometime in the morning or like early afternoon. And I won't eat before I go to give,
Mhm.
and I actually feel better when I do it that way. But yeah, I don't know. I know everybody's different. And I remember when I was first doing it, they used to tell me, I used to tell them, like,
Yeah.
have you eaten anything today? And I'd go, actually, no. And they'd go, you haven't? And they'd like freak out. And I'd go, no, like, I run better this way. And they're just like, oh.
I would probably have been okay with just not eating and drinking, but I hadn't taken my iron meds.
Mm.
That was the kicker for
Oh
me.
yeah, that'll knock.
and
knock
then I
you-
lost blood.
Yeah,
So,
with already being anemic and then not
Yeah.
having the iron. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
That's a nice recipe for
and
passing.
then I couldn't
out.
eat to compensate for not having the iron. So
Right.
Yeah, that sucks. I still, but yeah.
got that shaky blood.
How long were you in recovery?
He
At
means
po-
there.
What are we talking?
No.
Alcoholism? Or?
He means there.
Yeah.
No, it was out. It was outpatient.
Oh, okay.
Science is crazy, man.
Yeah, no,
Science is
I was
crazy.
just thinking if the first thing you had to eat was a hospital food, that had to
No,
suck.
I probably couldn't, to be honest. With just like what they,
Well, yeah, like everything's
I can't eat dairy. I can't eat gluten.
everything's got gluten in it in the hospital.
They have to have
There must-
something.
I
can
have
Oh,
Jell-O.
It's a hospital.
Oh.
Jell-O. We have green
Yeah,
and
tons of that.
orange. What kind would you
Yeah,
like?
Orange, always orange.
Oh, 100%.
I was gonna say I don't think
I would pick red if they
I don't
had
think
it.
you
Yeah, I
ate
like the
anything
red.
until like the next day.
Mm.
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
think she
I
ate
don't
anything
think
until
so.
the next
Seems
day.
about right. I
She
mean,
got
I
back
feel like
because
you'd
she
be
didn't
really
get
woozy.
back to her
and-
apartment until like 8 p.m.
Right, because the surgery was in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the afternoon. So
Mm.
Yeah, and on the way home, like, because my mom drove me to and then picked me up and took me back to my apartment. And Zach was there, and on my, I love my
Zach
mom.
didn't even. Zach was
No.
just there. He's just like, oh, you guys are here.
No, it was more of one of those things where it was like only one person's allowed to go because of COVID, and my
Sure.
mom pulled rank. And yeah, and so on the
She's
way back
VP.
to my apartment, she's asking for directions. I'm like, I'm barely off of general anesthesia.
And you're like, why did you choose to pick me
And
up
I'm
if
like-
you don't even
I'm like
remember
looking
where I live,
around, and I'm
Mom?
like, she's like, do I go
Gabby's
straight or left? And I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Gabby's like, this guy's looking out the window going, do you see a goose? I swear there's a goose. Which way do I go? The goose. That's which way you go.
The goose.
And then she's like, if I go this way, can I get there? And I was like, I think so. And then eventually I was like, no, turn right here. She's like, oh, you are paying attention. I'm like, shut up.
no, I'm not.
Oh my
Don't think
gosh.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you just
awesome.
reminded me how much I miss your mom.
Go have a party with her. She's lonely because she can't be around people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think that's it.
I'm upright. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the,
Yeah, you're doing
Yeah.
well. It's glad to see you're alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say last week was the first time we had Russ on in a long time, and that one was fun.
I heard it was a little chaotic. Yeah.
Uh,
Or not chaotic. It's just the Russ energy that.
yeah,
is him.
I don't think it was particularly chaotic. I mean, it was
Chaotic's the
definitely
wrong word,
energy
yeah.
filled. You know what I mean? Cameron brings in like the chill aspect. Russ doesn't do that.
No.
And then you also not being here, it's definitely going to be a lot more high energy.
Yeah.
Also, for like half of it, I was like sitting up here for some reason. So like,
Oh.
I don't know why.
You
I
were
just-
perched on
because
the
I was
arm
in
of your-
between. Because I was like trying to introduce the whiskey that he brought and like this whole
Right.
thing and like anyway. But
we could all say the real reason is because Russ was sitting next to you and you just didn't want to get that close.
There's that.
well, there's
That's why.
many a truth is. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. This has been Tim, Gabby, Zach, Cameron, and of course myself, Dallas. Thank you for listening. Until next time, there were no mosquitoes hurt.
But there were vampires hurt.
Those ones they were already dead, so I don't think they were hurt. But you know,
They're undead.
Oh, well, this is just a whole new question. It's like, do they feel pain?
They're
I'm
undead.
sure they do.
So, yeah,
We can talk about that next week.
I don't know. Never mind.
Next week.
Next week on Free
Do
Fourm.
vampires feel pain?
Do vampires feel pain?
if you know a vampire, let us know. All right, later.
All right.